Hi, my name is Nike Folagbade and I'm a dating and marriage coach. I recently finished a series on building a kingdom marriage. If you missed it, please watch it. I'm starting a new series and it is a very interesting topic. It is titled Dealing with an Unequally Yoked Marriage. A lot of people today are in a marriage setting where there are two different people, two different worlds apart, two different belief systems, and it's causing a lot of wreck in the marriage. So let's start with definition. Because of the singles that are also watching, I'm going to lay a foundation around the definition so that you understand it clearly if you're in that situation now. And as we go on with the other series around this topic, you get to see how you can deal with it if you find yourself in this kind of marriage. Now, the definition would be that we have two people. I'm going to use my two fingers to describe. So we have two people who have different values. An example of value is spirituality. So let's assume that this person believes, loves God, worship God, reverence God beyond just going to church on Sundays, and this other person is a Sunday does Christian, don't read Bible, don't follow the ways of God, that kind of a thing. These are two different people. It's going to cause conflict in the marriage. We have two people who have two belief system, because belief systems are formed while growing up, upbringing, experiences, environment, and they have both not been able to align. There is not going to be a miracle happening in a marriage. You're still going to have issues if you have different belief system. We have two people with different kinds of lifestyle, another people two different kind of lifestyle. So this other person believes in integrity, believes in an honest life, or the person is disciplined. Or let's assume that the man believes in going to the club and spending time with his friends, come back in the midnight, and is married to a lady who is just completely different from that. It's going to cause, it's going to be an issue. We have two people with different kinds of calling. So if you are a sent person, you have been called by God. God has a covenant with you to do certain things, or you have been called into the prophetic, apostolic, evangelist kind of ministry, like a spiritual ministry. You cannot just get married to any kind of person, because this person can be a distraction. So the issue with it is that when you get married to someone who does not have the capacity for what you've been called to do, or the person does not believe in your calling, or the person is intimidated, or the person thinks completely otherwise, or the person does not even have a clear relationship with God, this person is going to be a source of distraction. Now we have those who are worldly minded, who use possessions, wealth, fame, power as a security in life, and we have the other person who is kingdom minded. This person is seeking first the kingdom of God, and every other thing will be added. Now if we have these two kinds of people together in a marriage, it's going to lead to an issue. Another example would be where this person is coming from a healthy background, where this person has been modeled what it means to have a good marriage, but this other person is coming from a toxic background where there is separation, divorce, polygamy, where there is just so many issues. What then begins to happen is that this person has a healthy mindset and healthy expectation. This other person has issues like unforgiveness, resentment, rejection, all of these things still happening. These things actually wrecks marriages, trust me. And the best way to explain what it does to your marriage is that if you imagine two bullocks together, bullocks that carry load when they put a stick around their neck. So imagine what happens when one is very fat and capable of carrying the load, the other person is thin and weak. What's going to happen? It's going to mean that the one that is thin and weak is going to cause delay in the journey. It's going to be stagnation, distraction, because the one that is fat has to always wait. And if this one that is fat gets tired of waiting for this one, it's either this bullock wants to run away and leave this other one, and that means divorce or separation, or going to look for help from extramarital affairs and all those kinds of things. So if you find yourself in a marriage where you're constantly trying to force your partner to think like you, to be like you, to accept the ways that you believe is true, and if you remember, this is for Christian marriages, because the examples I'm giving would make more sense to you, but every other person can watch and understand that, okay, we're in a marriage where we both think differently. Now, most of the time, it is usually because these two people were living in this lifestyle before, and then they got into marriage, and one person experienced transformation in their life and wants to live that life, but this other person is still lost in those aspect of life. It could also be that one person deceived the other. It could also be that one person was expecting that there will be changes. Sometimes people also ignore red flags, ignore these things, and just assume that everything will fall in place in marriage. If you find yourself in this kind of marriage, there is hope, because God is a God of grace and mercy, and He is willing to restore your marriage. God is interested in the prodigal son. God is interested in every single person out there. It just depends on if you're willing to allow God to help you, even when you're also seeking for knowledge alongside. So follow this series carefully, as I am going to be sharing with you different aspects of how to deal with an unequally yoked marriage. I'd like to hear from you. Are you in this kind of marriage? Please send me a message. I'd like to get examples from you also. Thank you so much for watching.